I first want to start off bringing up my friend Alex Jones in the program. Last night on the RBN network, I heard something that was, I thought, really disturbing. It's very divisive. Here we are, out trying to combat the New World Order. We're putting the pieces of the puzzle together. We're growing the movement exponentially around the world. And then we have people here in our own backyard just taking really, I think, unnecessary pot shots at those of us that are doing this work. And I got to say, I was horrified to hear some of this commentary. So I have Alex Jones with me from the Alex Jones Show. Alex, thanks for being on the show. If I were you, I wouldn't blame you for being a little upset over this. I think I'm making an understatement.
Well, I mean, it's not just that. What I'm upset by is the response of a couple local people I've known, and that's why I've decided to do this. I mean, I'm not going to stop. The fraud will be exposed.
Well, maybe you better tell my listeners who didn't listen to your show today or aren't aware of what's going on.
Let me just give them some background because I refuse to mention the name of the offender. Because my show is 100 times, and that's just on the web when we done the numbers, 10 times bigger during the show, around 100 times with all the re-airs than this individual's biggest program. So I'm not about to send any of my precious listeners over to this, pathetic individual. So I want to be clear about that. This is just for those that know Veritas, who know the truth, who have been in Central Texas or have heard this individual's program and have heard all the stuff over the years. It's just too much. I've gotten phone calls. You've gotten phone calls. We all have. You better shut up or you're going to get it. It's all veiled. Whatever. I've ignored that because I'm not thinking about this individual very often. I'm busy thinking about doing news reports, making films, doing work. That's why we have a lot of listeners here at the GCN Radio Network. But ever since this individual moved down here 7, 8 years ago and set up shop, I guess about 7, there's been problems, but I've ignored it. And then like 7 years ago, he told an incredible lie about me and said he's got the proof. He talked to the 2020 and he's getting a copy of the check and how I sold people out. Totally made up. Just whole cloth made up. Of course, it never came. Totally made up. Like a schmuck, 4 years later, I forgive the person, am friendly, until I see some things, some really bizarre things, and everybody knows about this, but they act like it's normal. See, I never told anybody, because I know even if I had something happen to me, that it's so outlandish that I'm not going to talk about it because people wouldn't believe it until I'm sitting there at a Denny's one night with a group of like 10 people, and I go, yeah, one time he did this to me, and they go, oh, that happened to me. That happened to me. I heard this happen to such and such. I didn't know it was like something they do. I was at this guy's house, and I'm sitting there doing a radio show with him. And all of a sudden, I look up and he's pointing a Walther PPK handgun at me, and I was kind of, when I'm not paying attention, I'm kind of stupid. I was, what's going on? I almost get hit in traffic all the time because I'm so unafraid. I'm kind of a dumb animal in a way. I'm like, what are you pointing at me for? And he had this maniacal look of like pleasure, like he's trying to extract horror. And I jumped up and I said, you better put that down, man. You got a problem. I'm not going to be around you anymore. And so I kind of just went away. Then he orchestrated this whole big thing. Oh, Genesis isn't going to exist anymore. Better come to, get behind me. Wasn't true. Everybody remember that? And he did all these things. And I ignored that and tried to be neutral. Well, it's okay. We need more voices. And all this stuff went on over the years. And all these things happened. And then I heard from so many people who had been over at his house and done things with him. And then, Jack, you moved down here from up in Rhode Island, and then you were over at his home, and on record, you told me that there was drug use going on, right, Jack?
Yeah, that's correct. But, I mean, here's the problem. I don't want to get into a he said, she said
No, the point is, this
thing.
son of a
but, yes,
bitch.
eyewitness.
Hold on, son of a bitch.
Hold on. No, you hold on, Alex, for 1 second. Because I want our listeners to understand that the people that are out pointing the finger and accusing us of all these things are actually guilty of the very things they accuse us of doing.
That's it. No, the point is, Jack, you've been around me when we're sitting there, drinking beer. And other people, because I don't care. I mean, everybody does it in this town. People pull out a joint, outside at a restaurant and start smoking it. People walk down the street. But do I ever smoke it, Jack?
No, I've never seen you do it.
I don't like pot. I don't like drugs. I like caffeine and occasional Budweiser. The point is, this guy got up on the air and said that he hired a PI. That's made up, just like the 2020 thing. He just pulls this stuff out of his rear end. And you know what? I'm going to take him into court. I'm going to take his wife that owns it in there. She's going to get sued. Listen, I'm not playing. I'm going to sue you. And I'm going to take him in. I'm going to say, you said this. talking about me, playing my music, saying the number one talk show host, talking about me. You now are going to produce. You're going to produce this, and you're going to produce all your evidence. And I know it's not true. Okay? And then, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring the people on air he's pointed guns at. I got one working in this office who's been there at the office when they're at the table, and he pulls a gun out at a board meeting to intimidate people up there. This guy should be run out of here. I am a pathetic worm that I didn't do this earlier. This is
Alex, I mean, we try to ignore all of this. We try to go on and do our work, and at some point this has to come to a head so that healing can occur.
Well, by the way, that coward's voice was shaking yesterday when he was doing it, thinking he'd intimidate me, bluffing me. You hear me, boy? My voice isn't bluffing. You think I'm afraid of some pencil-neck wife-beater? You think I'm afraid of you, who gets up on the air and calls Jack Blood's son a bastard? You bastard? Huh? You think I'm afraid of you? You're a punk. You're nothing. I have 100 times the listeners you do. You're getting out of my town, and you're not sucking off me anymore. When you blew the Michigan militia, they finally figured out who you were and ran you out. I should have listened to people a long time ago.
Well, I mean, here's the shame.
He declared war on me, and let me tell you, his little pimps. Let me tell you why I'm going public. The main reason was these local pimps, there's a couple of them, sitting there saying, I'm the bad guy. That's it. I'm going to have judgments. I'm going to have everything. I'm going to have it all. I'm going to have my name. I'm sorry, Jack, go ahead.
Well, I mean, here's the shame of it is that the people in Austin, Texas, and now, people around the world being caught up in the middle of this.
Doesn't matter. That's why I've never done it, but I'm selfish. You know what? People want to sit here like a cancer in my town where I live with my friends and want to sit here and do this and tell lies. I mean, folks, premeditated lying. Okay? Lying about me. Making stuff up. I am mad.
Well, look, Alex, I've watched what you've done. I saw what you did on Ground Zero at the 6-year anniversary, which was miraculous, along with the people of Loose Change and all those good people that showed up there. Look, I mean, that's what you do. I don't think you have anything to be obviously ashamed of. I mean, you have done an amazing job growing the movement. And I'll tell this to all our listeners, and I've said it many times in the past. I woke up because I found Alex Jones in the Genesis Communications Network, and I'm sure there are millions of people out there, Alex, who would say the same thing.
Exactly. Well, I just want to finish up on the other side.
That's fine.
And I want everybody to know, anybody that traffics with him is my enemy. Because that guy is a scoundrel.
I want to bury the hatchet. Maybe we'll have to bury it in someone's head. But we'll be right back after this, folks. Stay tuned. Deadline Live.
And now, back to Deadline Live with your narrator, Jack Blood.
Meet the old boss, same as the old boss. We'll get to that here in just a minute. And I apologize, folks, for, in a way, kind of airing our dirty laundry. But Alex asked me to come on the show, and I got his back, okay, no matter what happens. Alex, I've told you I'll take a bullet for you, man, and you've done so much for me and my listeners. I mean, this is the least we can do. So if I can give you a little bit of airtime here to lay this thing out and get the ball rolling, then it's my honor to do this.
Well, Jack, I mean, I'm the king, and I remember telling you years ago, I do not attack other people, do I?
Never.
Never. But when there's this cancer...
And let's be clear, you are attacked constantly and persistently, as am I, on almost a daily basis. I mean, we could turn this show into a constant rebuttal of all the attacks.
Well, I mean, this same guy has done nothing but to try to destroy Genesis, which is better and bigger than ever. And just last month, the owner of Genesis had to call him up and go, you need to quit calling advertisers and calling everybody and saying we're going under. That's not true, man. That's bad business practices. I want all the listeners to understand, this is a person trying to destroy a Patriot network for his own greediness. Okay, so I'm ignoring all that and all his stuff behind the scenes and all the things he does and then acting like using my name on air and, all these people we wake up going and, contributing to the carpetbagger. And I have to put up with all of this. And then, I'm just on air talking about, hey, folks, I'm never asked for donations because it's embarrassing how other people do. And then he takes that as it's some personal thing to himself and goes on air and tells a total lie. I mean, and knowing it, and that's the thing, is that he is just always the same, and all the stuff we know. I mean, it's like I didn't know he had a fetish to pull guns on people. I mean, you're just sitting there, all of a sudden he's pointing one at you. He's into that, man. This is everything I hate. He's a wannabe bully, and I just want that bully to know literally, I don't want to go out in my yard and stomp on dog crap. But basically, this is already on my shoes. I've got to dig it off my shoes just because I can't stand it anymore.
Yeah.
I can't stand having my flank here in Central Texas knowing, I'm guilty every day I wake people up, okay? Because I know that they wake up and then they want to come interface with somebody, and I'm not going to sit there and work them on the telephone and work money out of them, and that's not what I'm after. I'm after info. I'm trying to do something pure here. I know you are too, Jack. Half the time you're broke because you don't even want to call up and get advertisers. And I'm trying to do something here, and I've got to watch this embarrassment in my name. Look, really one of the camel straws was I was at the local access TV station this weekend, and two people walk up and they go, "Yeah, I like listening to you on RBN. Why does your boss talk bad about you?" And I go, "That's not my boss. I'm not on that. You understand? They act like that. They imply that. They do all these little slick little tricks. Okay,